That's right, folks. We're here at Lenny Melnick's Fantasy Sports Network. This is Cha-Cha. It's 7:15, the middle of the summer here in New York City. And you are listening to the Legends Network. That's right, folks. The legend himself, Lenny Melnick. That's right. The owner of the website. He's been doing this for, many years, folks. And give me the opportunity to do a little breakfast with Cha-Cha this morning. Followed today. Lenny is on the road, folks. He's finally taking a vacation, believe it or not, from fantasy sports. Now, Lenny never takes a vacation officially because when he goes on the road, one thing he does, he visits, how did I say that wrong as usual? He usually visits people that are associated and that basically with this website. He will visit a lot of people that listen to his podcast, that listen to his wife's Andrea's podcast and their shows on SiriusXM, and also they come over here and support the network. So Lenny will be in Cleveland, I think in Detroit. There's a couple of places he's going to be hitting up. Cincinnati. He's going to be visiting some of the people here that have podcasts on this network, also that just come here on a regular basis to listen to him and Andrea, as well as some people that listen to me, Lou Landers, Arnie's Fantasy World of Sports, Joel Julo with Pitches Get Stitches, Kevin Hastings does an Aloha Fantasy Baseball show here, Cam Giagrande does a show here every day, sometimes 2 shows a day, and of course we have a cast of characters here that are trying to continue. We got Drought for Upside, a bunch of guys that drink beer and talk sports. We got our boy Fantasy Phil, who's that's Phil Chaplin. He does a show with Arnie and by himself also. Doug Boyle does a show here on Saturday with his cast of characters and friends, the Nutty Professor, and a couple of his other buddies, Brandon and Stevie O. And Dan Gilbert hasn't been well. We're going to wish Dan Gilbert welcome back here, hopefully this week. He's been very ill, and he hasn't been able to do any of his podcasts. Dan does a very good job when he's able to do his podcast. He's also a weed provider where he lives. He's legally, he does the weed, and he also sends packages to when people don't feel so well. He helps you out in that area, folks. If I missed anybody, Chuck, I know I'm going to have Chuck and Andrea do. Hopefully, I don't know if Chuck and Andrea can do their show tonight at 8 o'clock. Hopefully, they can. That's an 8 o'clock show tonight. We also have George, our boy George, the Roto Imbecile himself. He does a show tonight at 7 o'clock. So, basically, I hope I didn't leave anybody out from this channel. If I did, Easy Kill also. He'll be doing a show Tuesday. I think he's back this week with Easy Around the Table. He's supposed to get in touch with me. Maybe I'll do a show with him to try to boost his ratings from 4 listeners to 5. And my dog does count as a listener, Easy, so we can help you there. He also does a show with Chris Allen. Chris Allen does a lot of stuff for fantasy football. And I did do a nice show on Wednesday night here at 10 o'clock. Okay, now that we got all the preliminaries out of the way, let's get to what you came here for, I hope. And that is to see what people were picked up last night off the waiver wire may have been dropped in fantasy baseball. That's right, folks. The second week of fantasy baseball might be for some people, and the second half starts today. But for other people, this might be the continuation from last week, since we had a short week last week, where you're going to have to, like right now, I'm in one head-to-head league where I'm ahead. I'm playing against one of the guys in my league, my buddy across the street, and I'm ahead of him, which is great. But that don't mean beans right now, because come a week from now, there's 10 categories. There's 5 offensive and 5 pitching. And won't mean a damn thing what the score I have today. So I have to really look ahead of my schedule and plan accordingly to try to win my matchup against the seasoned veteran, my friend Phil. Now, last night, over in our 10-team auction league, there was a few moves made. Just so you guys know, in about 20 minutes from now, we will have a podcast, a baseball podcast, which we always do at 9 o'clock. on my man Lou Landers, who I do a show with on Tuesdays and Fridays here called Fantasy Gangsters, a daily fantasy show will be up. Last week we killed it, man. I usually don't brag. I don't think I'm bragging. I'm just telling you the truth. I mean, last week we actually won a good amount of money last week for a change at Daily Fantasy Sports. Thank you very much to the LA Angels for their participation in us winning the cashola. That's going to probably put me through for the rest of the season. I'm pretty much happy with DraftKings and Yahoo. We both did some fantastic. We got so many hits in one day. And, of course, yesterday, the humbling of Daily Fantasy Sports puts you back to reality, folks, because after winning in a couple of days in a row, yesterday I took it on the chin. So we move on from Daily Fantasy Sports every day. It's a humbling experience, folks. Sometimes when you do win, it's lovely. It's if you can hit to win enough to pay for your, you put what money you put into it. I try to win a few bucks a week. Sometimes I win $3-4, and that's not a lot of money, but it's an enjoyment. It's a hobby for me. So hopefully it's the same for you, and you have some fun with it, which what I'm doing. Moving over to this 10-team AL League only, our boy Beach Bum, who's competing in this league against us, South Carolina native now, he picked up Felix Pena from the LA Angels. Speaking of the LA Angels, Beach Bum is very, very, he's active, man. He's an active player, and he's trying his best to move up in the rankings here. He drops Ryan Yarbrough of the Rays, and he's been bouncing up and down. Ryan Yarbrough, pick him up, drop him, pick him up, drop him. And Felix Pena's been the same way for most of the year. Moving on down here, our boy Dougie Boyle, he picked up a catcher, Travis d'Arnaud. Now, Travis d'Arnaud, Lenny Melnick will tell you, Lenny Melnick's not the biggest man in the world, but he even stood toe-to-toe with him in the locker room one time. You know what that means? Lenny had told me straight to my face about Travis d'Arnaud. I don't believe this guy's ever going to be a good baseball player. I can't believe he's a catcher. And, well, this year he's had his ups and downs like he always does, but he's had a couple of big hits. I know he had a big game-winning home run against the Yankees this year, so I do remember that. But for $1, and he drops Tom Murphy, I would say he also qualifies at first base. You could put him in there here and there, especially, he's a decent hitter though. Got to give him that. Got to give it to him. I mean, he's a good guy to have, I guess, as a pitch. Throw him in there here and there, stream him. Throw him against a couple of decent rotten pitches. He'll probably do it semi-productive for you, better than some of these catchers that are out there. Tom Murphy now leaves his team and goes to the bench. The first place leader for most of the league this year. Now, I've been battling this guy all year. Leclerc Gallo. He picks up Colin McHugh. Now, Colin McHugh's been hurt for a lot part of the year. Now, Colin McHugh's got a shot to get back to the Houston Astros and make a name for himself once again because their rotation is really kind of beat up. He picks him up for $3. Now, he drops Dylan Bundy. Now, Dylan Bundy, actually was kind of productive in his last month for teams that had picked Dylan Bundy up. Again, Dylan Bundy got hurt the other day, and he went to the DL. So I don't know if you'll be hearing from Dylan Bundy anytime soon. Matter of fact, I don't even know if the Orioles would take a chance with him. He may be out, who knows, 10, 20, the whole month. Does it really matter? I don't think you'll be clamoring at the waiver wire for Dylan Bundy. But in a short league like this, where it's an AL-only league, Dylan Bundy actually comes into focus, and if he does come back by, say, the end of August or something, you may have him on your radar. Me, I doubt it. But let's move on to another league. The league we're going to hit, we'll hit it up. It's called the Trucker Rob's Flying High League. Then it's a head-to-head league that I manage, run, commissioner, whatever you want to call it. And that's a 14-team head-to-head league, folks. Brutal. I mean, the guy that's in the lead, Mecca, man, he's been beating everybody's brains in. I mean, literally, he's up 19 games or so. He's ahead of everybody in the pack. Now, speaking of Mecca, he's going to pitch today. The guy he's picking up, Josh James. Josh James is going to be pitching today, folks. Now, if you got a daily pickups, and you could pick up a guy. Josh James is going to pitch the opener today now. If he goes more than 2 innings, that's going to probably be a lot. I don't know if you want to take a chance picking him up, but Mekett certainly looks like he's going to. He drops Miguel Sano to waivers. Now, that's, wow. Miguel Sano, now this is why Meckett's team is so loaded. He's got such a loaded team that he's able to drop Miguel Sano. Now, Miguel Sano hasn't been all that. I'll give him that. But to drop a guy like Miguel Sano at this point in the season, I got to tell you, he must have a pretty good bomb squad. And I know he does because he's beating the hell out of all of us. Another guy that was picked up, I was considering, now he paid nothing for Josh James, absolutely nothing. Next guy that was picked up on the waiver wire was Daniel Ponce de Leon of the St. Louis Cardinals. Also was picked up for nothing. Porters and Stouts, our boy Mitch Harston picked him up this morning. And he dropped Mike Leake for him. No problem dropping Mike Leake if you ask me. We got 15 minutes. Lou Landers, my buddy, my pal from Fantasy Gangsters, my partner over there from Tuesdays and Fridays at 4 o'clock, is coming up today to do you a justice when it comes to baseball. Lou Landers is going to hit it up as Lenny Melnick is somewhere out there on the road right now. Hopefully he's in a nice air-conditioned vehicle, not yelling and screaming at his radio as he listens to this podcast. If he's listening to this podcast, I appreciate it. I hope he's not listening to some other jabroni that instead of listening to me. Anyway, Daniel Ponce de Leon pitched a good game the other day. Happens to be a halfway decent pitcher. I was considering picking him up myself, but I was a little bit, distracted yesterday. And I don't think I even made any moves, so that's probably not like me. But hey, sometimes life gets in the way, folks. You know, it's Sunday, and the summer, you're out there. Sometimes it's hot, and most of the day it's hot. That's for sure. It's a stupid statement, but you're out there in the sun doing your thing. You come home. Sometimes you take a nap, and you don't get up. If you know what I'm saying. Sorry, Corey, but it happens. You know, you get up, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, I got to do a podcast. Finally, our girl, Andrea, I'm in a rough go at it in this league, I got to tell you. But Andrea, you can't count her out. You never can count her out. She's going to give it the old school try here. She picks up Julius Chassin of the Milwaukee Brewers. What a good team. He had a good year last year. This year hasn't fared as well for him. But she needs a few pitches. So she went out, paid absolutely nothing for the guy, I believe. Or did she drop the bomb? I don't know. See, I can't understand this sometimes. Sometimes I look at, oh no, she picked them up. I don't know, maybe it's my eyes. I can't see that good anymore. But she picked them up. Sometimes I think when I'm looking at the screen here, it looks like that she dropped them. I don't know. Who cares what I can't see? I got to wear glasses. Maybe that's what the frig I got to do. This is outrageous. Maybe Ginger, my dog over here, she probably can do this podcast better than me today. I'm just screwing up left and right. Jesus, I need Jesus. That's what I need. I need Jesus in my life. And with that, Danny Pasqua, my friend Victor, picked up Jesus himself, Jesus Aguilar. Finally comes off the waiver wire, back to a squad. Jesus Aguilar, Jesus himself, has finally been put back on a team. The dude played so damn bad for most teams that had him this year. He was bouncing around on the waiver wire, but he was on the bench, on the wire for a while. And finally, he's had a little production. My man said, hey, I need some hitting. This guy might hit me some home runs. He picked him up for a whole shiny dollar. Drops J.P. Crawford of the Seattle Mariners. J.P. came up, had a couple of good games. Some people picked him up. Now most people dropped him. Jesus is back. But is he really back, folks? That's the jury's out on him. Here's a guy that got dropped last week. I told you he would not last. There's no way that he was going to last on the waiver wire. I would have picked him up, but I don't have any room for him because I have my corner infielders and my first base and third base spots solidly. I got solid spots there. I couldn't pick up. Yandy Diaz was picked up. Yandy Diaz was thrown on the waiver wire last week. I thought that was kind of a wacky move, but he was picked up by our boy J.R. Slice. J.R. Slice picked him up for $10. Wow, $10. Not bad. He drops Jordan Lyles. Boy, Jordan Lyles was crushing his soul, man. He was killing him. Jordan Lyles.